Welcome students. In this lesson we're going to practice finding equivalent fractions without models. So without drawings this time, just numbers. Now remember that you can make equivalent fractions by multiplying or dividing both the numerator and the denominator by the same amount. That's what we talked about in our last lesson. And another way of saying this, right, is this rule that whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. And we're going to practice that a few times here just so we really understand what that means. So let's go ahead and move down here. Now, I've got some models here, and we're going to use them, but I'm mostly going to use them just to prove the math that we are doing here. So let's go and try this first one. Make sure you have your math notebook and a pencil ready. We're going to do some practice together here. Let's begin by counting. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces make a whole. So that is our denominator. Denominator tells us how many pieces make a whole. How many are shaded in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces are shaded in. So let's see if we can make an equivalent fraction with our fourths on the bottom. Notice down here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pieces make a whole here. So the question is, how many fourths are equivalent? How many fourths are equivalent to 6/8? So let's use the rule that we learned in our previous lesson. Whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top here. So let's give that a try. So what did I do to the bottom? How did I get from 8 to 4? Well, obviously, let's see here. We're using division in this case because we're getting smaller. So let's see, dividing by, now we can kind of ask a question. 8 divided by what equals 4? So we're going to have to use our knowledge about division facts and factors here. I happen to know that 8 divided by 2 equals 4. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So I'm going to do the same thing up here. Ask myself another question. 6 divided by 2 equals what? 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So what I've shown here is that, or what I think anyways, is that 6/8 equals 3/4. Now let's go ahead and test it out. I'm going to mix some colors here. So in theory, if I mix this yellow fraction, these 3/4, if I mix that with my 6/8 on top, I should get a nice orange fraction that matches up perfectly, and it does. All right, I just proved that 6/8 equals 3/4. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next example down here. So in your math notebook, I'm actually going to clean this up a little bit. In your math notebook, let's go ahead and write out first, let's write out this top fraction here. What is this fraction? Well, how many pieces make a whole here? That would be 2 pieces make a whole. How many pieces do I have? I have 1. Okay, and so we're going to find an equivalent fraction. How many pieces make up a whole on this bottom fraction? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In this bottom fraction, 10 pieces make a whole. Okay, so let's find an equivalent fraction. How many tenths are equivalent to 1/2? So let's start on the denominator here. And I'd like you to go ahead and pause the video now and see if you can do the math here. Multiply the top and the bottom by the same numbers. When you're done here, I do want you to take a picture of your notes. So I would ask that everyone go ahead and try to solve these problems in your math notebook. When you're done, go ahead and take a picture of your notes so that I saw that you finished this. And let's go ahead and do the math here. So pause the video, do the math on your own. When you're done, unpause, and I will solve it, and we'll see how that went for you. All right, assuming you're done with the problem, I'm going to ask myself a question. 2 times what equals 10? 2 times 5 equals 10. So I'm going to do the same math on the top. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 1 times 5 equals what? 1 times 5 equals 5. 5/10. So in theory, I should be able to color in my fractions down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if my math is correct, I should be able to lay these fractions on top of each other. And if my math is right, I should get a nice green fraction here on top. There we go. Kind of a weird green, but it does prove they line up perfectly. They are equivalent. We can say I showed that with my model, that my math was correct. All right, let's try another example together. This time, how many pieces make a whole? 3 pieces make a whole. And how many pieces do I have? How many pieces are shaded in? 2 pieces are shaded in. All right. How many pieces make a whole in my other example here? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces make a whole here. How many sixths are equivalent to 2/3? So we'll go ahead and do the math. Start with this. 3 times what equals 6? Repeat that on the top. All right, when you're done, go ahead and unpause and I'll solve the problem along with you. All right, assuming you're done with the problem on your own, let's go ahead and solve it together. 3 times what equals 6? 3 times 2 equals 6. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 2 times 2. What is 2 times 2? 2 times 2 equals 4. 4/6. All right, let's try that out. I'm going to try a blue color this time. Mix it up a little bit. 4/6, huh? Okay, that'd be 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, 4/6. There we go. Let's give that a try. Let's try to prove that, see how that looks. Bingo. Mixed my blue and my pink and I got purple. And they lined up perfectly. 2/3 equals 4/6. All right, last example. We're going to try it together here. This time we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces make a whole, and 5 of them are shaded in. And we're going to, this time we're going to see if it's equivalent to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 twelfths. 12 pieces make a whole. Go ahead and work on this on your own. Pause the video, unpause when you're done. All right, assuming that you're done solving this on your own, let's try this out. 6 times what equals 12? 6 times 2 equals 12. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So let's try that on top here. 5 times 2 equals 10. Let's try that out and see if we got the answer correct here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. There we go. All right, there's 10 pieces, and let's line them up and see if we got it. We did, purple. They line up perfectly. So what we've done here is we've proven that if you multiply or divide the numerator and the denominator by the same value, you'll get an equivalent fraction. You're going to be practicing this on your own this week. Do submit your notes from this lesson and a screenshot of that IXL work at 80%. I can't wait to see your work. Good luck with this.